a little treasure hiding in there? Something small, unassuming, maybe a bit worn, but worth a fortune, and not because it was made of gold. Not because it was encrusted with diamonds. But because of a minting detail most folks miss, a detail that changed one man's life forever. So grab your cup of coffee, settle in, because by the time this video ends, you might be running for your coin jar. This is the true story of the 1999 Connecticut quarter and the reason why it could be the most valuable quarter in America, but don't blink. The clues are subtle. The details, fascinating. And the ending? You won't see it coming. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched one of its most ambitious programs ever, the 50-state quarters program. Each quarter celebrated a different state, its culture, and history. The very first year, 5 states were honored: Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. Connecticut's quarter stood out. The design features the famous charter oak tree, a symbol of strength, rebellion, and legacy. But beneath that beautiful engraving and silvery luster, some Connecticut quarters held secrets. The quarter we're talking about today, the one worth $1.7 million, was minted in Philadelphia. You'll know it by the small P just to the right of Washington's ponytail. But that's just where the mystery starts. Let me take you to a dusty garage in rural Ohio. Picture an older gentleman, retired, Vietnam vet, loves woodworking. We'll call him Jack. One slow Tuesday, Jack was cleaning up his garage when he found an old Folgers coffee can full of coins. He remembered using it to teach his grandkids how to count change. He dumps the coins on the bench, and as he's sifting through nickels and dimes, one quarter catches his eye. It's a 1999 Connecticut quarter, but something looks off. The tree's design is slightly misaligned. There's extra metal around the rim. A glint that doesn't match the others. He doesn't think much of it, tosses it into a drawer, and goes back to his day, but fate had other plans for Jack. It turns out, in late 1999, a small batch of Connecticut quarters was struck using a damaged die. The charter oak design was slightly doubled, creating what collectors call a double die obverse. To the untrained eye, it looks like a smudge. But to numismatists, serious coin collectors, it's a red-hot anomaly. And now here's where things get interesting. Not only was there doubling, but some quarters had what's known as a clad layer error. That means the outer nickel copper shell was partially missing, revealing the inner core. Combine that with the doubling, the sharp strike, and the early die state, and you've got a rarity that could make headlines. Only a few of these are known to exist. Maybe 4 or 5. That's at 3 years after Jack found the coin. His nephew, a coin hobbyist, finally convinced him to take it to a coin show in Cincinnati. At first, the experts dismissed it. But then a respected grader from PCGS, the professional coin grading service, looked at it under magnification. He froze. What he held wasn't just rare. It was one of a kind. The combination of the 1999 mint mark, the flawless doubling, and the clad layer flaw made this quarter an absolute unicorn in the world of numismatics. The coin went to auction. The bidding was ferocious. What started at $10,000 jumped to $50,000, then $200,000, then $500,000. The final hammer dropped at $1.70 million. Jack, who spent his life working construction and fixing cars, suddenly had the kind of wealth people only dream of. From a coin he almost threw away, there are still a few of these Connecticut quarters out there. And if you're watching this from your couch, your garage, or maybe standing next to a dusty old piggy bank, you might have one of them. Look for the 1999 date on the front. Check for the P mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. And now, turn your attention to the charter oak. Is there a doubling of the tree branches? Does the rim feel thicker or uneven? Is there any exposed inner core, a darker, coppery strip around the edges? Use a magnifying glass or your phone's camera zoom. Take your time. Don't rush. This isn't about luck. It's about knowing what to look for. Even if it's not the exact rare type, some 1999 Connecticut quarters in pristine, uncirculated condition have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine that. A 25-cent coin paying your rent. But this isn't just about rare coins, this is about possibility. About the everyday things we overlook that could change everything. It's about Jack in Ohio, who never thought a coffee can full of coins would pay for his granddaughter's college tuition. It's about the millions of Americans who walk past loose change, never knowing what it might be worth. Your wealth might be hiding in plain sight. So go ahead. Check those jars. Dump out that drawer. Call your grandkids and tell them it's treasure hunting time, because the next $1 million quarter might be sitting in your kitchen, waiting to be discovered. When you feel that chill down your spine because you know you've got something special, remember this moment: the quarter. The story. The lesson: because sometimes, in the most unexpected places, fortune finds us, and that, my friends, is a story worth remembering. Don't forget to subscribe for more rare coin discoveries. Leave a comment if you've ever found something rare in your change. Who knows, your story could be next. Imagine holding a simple quarter in your hand, one you've probably seen 100 times. Now, imagine someone offering you $1.8 million for it. Sounds unreal, doesn't it? But today, we're talking about a true story, a rare coin from the year 2000. A South Carolina state quarter with a tiny P mint mark that turned an everyday collector into a millionaire. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might just be checking your change jar or your dad's old coin box with new eyes. Because this isn't just about a coin. It's about spotting opportunities in the least expected places. It's about how history, luck, and a little bit of knowledge can unlock unbelievable value from something most people overlook. Let's rewind to the year 2000. The U.S. Mint had launched the 50-state quarters program, celebrating each state with unique designs. When the South Carolina quarter was released, it featured the Carolina wren, a palmetto tree, and the state outline with a star marking Columbia, the capital. But it's not just the design that makes this coin special. It's what happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A batch of these quarters, struck with extraordinary precision, near perfect surfaces, and a unique die alignment, slipped into circulation unnoticed. A small number were later discovered to have subtle but powerful minting anomalies, setting them apart from the millions of regular coins, and among them, one particular 2000p South Carolina quarter, found in near flawless condition, stunned the numismatic world. Experts appraised it at a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, a single 25-cent coin worth more than a beach house. Let's break it down. There are three pillars that give any coin extraordinary value: rarity, condition, and historical context. This 2000p South Carolina quarter has all three. First, rarity. Although millions of these coins were minted, the specific variation that fetched over $1 million is estimated to exist in fewer than 10 known examples. It's not just about being old, it's about being one of a kind. Second, condition. Collectors call it MS68 or better. That's mint state, graded on a scale up to 70. The higher the number, the closer it is to perfect. The $1 million coin was so pristine, you'd think it came straight from the mint yesterday. Third, minting errors and features. This coin wasn't just shiny and rare, it had a unique die crack near the palmetto tree, a tiny flaw that actually increased its value due to how few exist with that same feature. But that's not all. This is where it gets even more interesting. Most people walk around with loose change in their pockets, completely unaware of the potential treasures hiding in plain sight. That's exactly what happened to a man from Georgia who found the $1 million South Carolina quarter in a bowl of coins at his grandmother's house. He had no idea until he stumbled across an online forum of coin collectors. One post talked about a rare 2000p South Carolina quarter with unusual die markings and nearly flawless luster. He checked his coin and couldn't believe it, it matched the description almost exactly. He took it to a local dealer. The dealer's jaw dropped. 2 weeks later, after certification and grading, that coin was auctioned off for $1.8 million. From a dusty old candy dish to life-changing wealth, in less than a month. First, check for the mint mark. You want to find the letter P, right below the motto, "In God We Trust," on the obverse side. Next, inspect the overall condition. Look for coins that have no scratches, dents, or wear. The edges should still have their original ridges. And now, examine the fine details: a die crack near the palmetto tree, a sharp strike, and deep mirror-like luster. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Sometimes the difference between a regular quarter and a $1 million one is invisible to the naked eye. Don't guess. Use a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, it'll cost you a little, but it could earn you a fortune. Why do coins like this go for millions? It's not just about metal. It's about story, nostalgia, and uniqueness. Every coin has a journey, and when that journey intersects with rarity and demand, it creates explosive value. Collectors want to own history. They want something no one else has. And investors? They know these coins only increase in value with time, especially as more disappear into private collections. Think of it like this: a painting is just paint on canvas until it's a Picasso. A quarter is just metal until it's one of the rarest of its kind. But here's something that might surprise you. In recent years, rare coin collecting has exploded, especially among men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's no longer just a hobby, it's an investment strategy. The right coin can outperform stocks, real estate, even gold. Auction houses are reporting record highs, with even mid-grade rare quarters selling for tens of thousands. The demand is hot, and the supply is drying up fast. That 2000p South Carolina quarter? Experts believe the next one that shows up in top condition could go for over $2 million. That rare South Carolina quarter might not be sitting in a museum or a billionaire's safe. It could be in your car, your drawer, your father's coin stash, or that old jar at grandma's house. The key is knowing what to look for. Because while most people ignore loose change, smart collectors know the truth. Fortune favors the observant. So, before you spend that next quarter at the gas station or the vending machine, take a closer look. Because you might just be holding a piece of American history worth $1.8 million, and if you think this story was incredible, wait until you hear about the 1999 New Jersey quarter that shocked you. In your spare change jar or hidden inside your grandfather's old coin purse is a tiny piece of metal that could change your life forever. Not gold, not silver, but a 2018 Apostle Islands quarter with a P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. Now hold on, don't rush to the drawer just yet, because what you're about to hear isn't just about a coin, it's about discovery, timing, and why millions of Americans are waking up to the hidden fortune inside something they thought was pocket change. And here's the kicker: one of these Apostle Islands quarters recently fetched an eye-popping $1.1 million in the collector's market. That's right, a quarter that cost 25 cents could now buy you a house, a truck, and still leave enough for a cross-country road trip. Stay with me, because we're diving deep into how that happened, why it matters, and how you might be sitting on the next million-dollar treasure. The United States Mint was rolling out its celebrated America the Beautiful Quarters program, and for Wisconsin they chose a site of majestic beauty, the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. Sculpted shorelines, sea caves, towering cliffs, and unspoiled nature. But the quarter that was meant to honor this breathtaking landscape did more than please the eye. It ended up shaking the coin collecting world. Now you might be wondering what makes this quarter so special. After all, millions were minted righties, but as with all legends, it's the details that matter. A tiny imperfection, an unnoticed flaw, a rare strike or misalignment is all it takes to turn the ordinary into a collector's dream, and that's exactly what happened here. Look closely at the coin and you'll see a small letter P just beneath the date. That's the Philadelphia Mint mark. It might seem like a simple stamp, but it's actually the gateway to understanding how rare a coin truly is. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these quarters, yes, but only a handful came out with incredibly rare die errors and striking anomalies. That means a few Apostle Islands quarters got pressed with slight off-center strikes, doubled dies, or extra metal known as cuds. And when collectors got wind of it, the frenzy began. The coin that originally paid for a soda suddenly became worth more than a new Dodge Ram, and just like that, people who had eyes to see were cashing in. But the real question is, do you have one in your possession? Now let me tell you about Dave from Michigan. He was a retired veteran with a habit of sorting coins every Sunday morning. One day he spotted a 2018 Apostle Islands quarter that just looked different. He couldn't explain why, but the design appeared slightly blurred, almost like it was doubling up. Turns out Dave had found one of the rare double die variants with a P mint mark. He sent it off for grading. 3 weeks later he was holding a slab certified MS-67 specimen that auctioned for over $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a retired man simply doing what he loved turned his coin sorting hobby into a 7-figure payday. Now you might be thinking that's a once-in-a-lifetime event, but you'd be surprised these coins are still out there in circulation in drawers and forgotten piggy banks. Alright, let's break down what you need to be hunting for. First, inspect the quarters front and back for doubling in the letters, especially in E pluribus unum and Apostle Islands. Next, check for extra metal blobs or cuds, usually near the edges or where the trees meet the water. Then look at the strike. Is it centered, or does it feel off? Is the image clear or slightly ghosted? Even a faint die crack running across the surface could mean your coin belongs to the elite few. And here's the thing: the top-graded Apostle Islands P mint mark quarter sold for over $1 million because of a combination of factors: pristine condition, dramatic doubling, and certified grading by PCGS. So step 1 is finding it, step 2 is getting it graded. That could be the difference between 25 cents and a new lifestyle. You might be asking, why on earth would anyone pay $1 million for a coin that's only a few years old? It's simple: rarity, condition, and demand. Collectors are driven by the thrill of owning something nobody else has. It's not just about the metal, it's about the story, the moment, the history embedded in a single object. And coins with rare mint errors become like fine art. They're time capsules. They represent craftsmanship, accidents, and mystery, all rolled into one. High-end collectors, private investors, and even museums are ready to pay big for coins that tell a story, and guess what? A perfect Apostle Islands quarter with that P mark and a rare strike does exactly that. Right now across the United States there's a quiet revolution happening. People are waking up to the idea that wealth isn't always found in banks or real estate. Sometimes it's sitting in jars under the sink and old boxes in garages. People like you are discovering that the coins they've ignored for decades might just be their golden ticket. The 2018 P. Apostle Islands quarter is proof, and if you think it's too late to find one, think again. Everyday coins exchange hands at gas stations, grocery stores, flea markets, and banks. Treasure is circulating quietly under everyone's noses, but only the wise and the watchful notice. Are you one of them? Step 1. Pull out all your quarters from 2018 and look for the Apostle Islands design. Step 2. Use a magnifying glass and a strong light source to inspect for doubling, die cracks, or extra blobs of metal. Step 3. If it looks unique, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if yours isn't $1 million coin, it might still be worth hundreds or even thousands, and that's a win by any measure. But if you do happen to find a top-tier specimen, then congratulations, you just changed your financial future with a single coin. Before we end, I want you to ask yourself one simple question: what if the next coin you hold in your hand is the one? What if the sound of spare change in your pocket isn't just noise, but the rustle of opportunity knocking? You've heard the stories, you've learned what to look for. Now it's time to act, because somewhere out there another Apostle Islands quarter is waiting, and it could have your name on it. The next millionaire might not be Dave from Michigan, it might be you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone who might just need that one small push to change their life. So imagine this. You're reaching into your pocket for some change. Maybe to grab a coffee, maybe to feed the meter, maybe just out of habit. And right there, sitting between a couple nickels and dimes, is a simple quarter. Nothing fancy. Just another coin in the sea of American currency. But what if I told you that quarter could be worth $1.2 million? Welcome, gentlemen. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, the value, and the insane story behind the 2015 P-Mint Saratoga quarter. And before you roll your eyes and think, come on, it's just a quarter, trust me, by the end of this video, you might be flipping over every coin in your collection with a magnifying glass in hand. Stay with me, because the story of this coin is not just about money. It's about American history, rare errors, collector obsession, and one man who turned pocket change into $1 million fortune. Let's begin with the basics. The 2015 Saratoga quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, a program launched by the United States meant to celebrate national parks and historic sites across all 50 states and territories. This particular quarter commemorates the historic turning point in the American Revolutionary War, the surrender of British General John Burgoyne to American General Horatio Gates at Saratoga in 1777. The coin's reverse shows two hands, one holding a sword, the other accepting it. Simple, yes, but powerful. Symbolic. A moment that helped forge a nation. And while the story behind the artwork is remarkable in its own right, what makes the 2015 P-Mint Saratoga quarter a millionaire's dream isn't just history, it's what happened during its production. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Mint. That little P you see on your coin? It might look insignificant, but it makes all the difference. Most quarters minted in Philadelphia are standard, common, ordinary, but every once in a while, something rare slips through. A die error, a double strike, a minting defect, or maybe, just maybe, a near-perfect condition strike that collectors would go to war over. And this is exactly what happened with a select few 2015 P Saratoga quarters. One specific batch, one specific error, one colossal explosion in market value. Want to know what the error was? Keep watching, because the twist is coming, and it's the kind of twist that's turned average guys into millionaires overnight. Let's start with the error. A tiny flaw, invisible to the untrained eye, but priceless to numismatists. It's known as a die clash error, when the metal dies used to strike the coin come into contact without a blank coin between them. This creates ghost-like images and overlapping impressions that should never exist. Now, add this to the equation: the affected coins were never supposed to be released into circulation. But a handful slipped out. Maybe someone at the mint missed it. Maybe it was fate. But they ended up in the hands of regular Americans, and one man, an Army veteran from Ohio, spotted it. He'd been collecting for years. At first, he thought it was a regular quarter, until he noticed what looked like faint traces of George Washington's profile on the reverse side of the coin. He sent it in to a professional grading service. PCGS confirmed it. A double die reverse with a ghostly overlay. One of only a few known to exist. Weeks later, the coin went to auction. Now I know what you're thinking. Could I have one of those? Is it sitting in a drawer in my house? You might be surprised. Let me walk you through exactly what to look for. First, flip the quarter and look at the reverse. That's the side with the two hands and the sword. Use a magnifier. Look closely at the hilt of the sword, the cuffs of the sleeves, and the space near the date. You're searching for doubling. Faint outlines. Almost like a shadow version of the same image. Next, examine the front. Washington's profile. Sometimes, you'll see a faint echo of his silhouette bleeding onto the reverse. That's a huge red flag in the best way possible. Also look for uncirculated quality. If the coin looks practically untouched, with sharp details and no scratches, your chances of hitting the jackpot increase tenfold. Send it to a professional grading service like NGC or PCGS. They'll confirm its value, and more importantly, protect your claim if you ever choose to sell. There are 3 reasons this coin is now worth over $1 million. First, scarcity. Only a handful exist with this unique error. Second, condition. Most quarters get scratched, banged around, or worn down in pockets, purses, and vending machines. Finding a mint condition error coin is like discovering a 4-leaf clover in a snowstorm. The coin collecting world is on fire. Every year, more collectors enter the market. And they aren't just retirees with magnifying glasses. They're investors. Hedge fund managers. Millionaires looking to diversify their portfolio with physical assets that gain value over time. Rare coins like this have jumped more in value than some stocks. A 62-year-old man from South Carolina. Retired. Spent his mornings walking the neighborhood, waving at neighbors, sipping coffee on his porch. He had a coin jar by the kitchen sink, like most of us do. One day, out of boredom, he started sorting through it. He'd heard about the 2015 Saratoga quarter. Watched a YouTube video. Just like this one. He found one. Sent it in. Graded MS-67 with a die clash. 3 months later, he was holding a check for over $1 million. He paid off his house. Took his wife on their first vacation to Europe. And started a local coin club to help others do the same. It's not just hype. This is happening. To real people. You could close this video, forget about it, and go on with your day. Or you could go grab that jar of coins you've been ignoring for years. Dig into your drawers. Check under your car seat. Look inside that old coffee tin from 1998. And if you happen to spot the 2015 P-Mint Saratoga quarter with the ghostly double image, well, you just might be holding the key to a 7-figure future. Make sure to subscribe if you want more real stories of coins worth real fortunes. Leave a comment if you've ever found anything unusual in your pocket change. And share this video with a friend, because the next millionaire could be watching right now. You ever hold a coin in your hand and feel like there's something special about it? Not just the usual loose change from your pocket. I'm talking about a coin that could change your life. Imagine reaching down into your car's cup holder, pulling out a quarter, and discovering it's worth $1.3 million. But what if I told you it's not a fantasy? It's real. One very specific coin, the 2017 P-Mint Frederick Douglass Washington quarter, has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and set the rare coin world ablaze. Stay with me because in this video, we're going deep. We'll uncover how this quarter became one of the most sought-after collectibles in American history, what makes it so valuable, how you can identify it, and the remarkable story behind Frederick Douglass himself. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's a twist coming that could send you digging through your old jars and drawers by the end of this video. It started like any other day at a coin show in 2023. Collectors were browsing cases, dealers were trading stories, and nobody expected much out of a quarter minted only 6 years prior. But then, one collector walked in with a pocket full of coins, casually pulling out a 2017 Frederick Douglass quarter with a Philadelphia mint mark. At first glance, nothing looked off. But a closer inspection under magnification revealed something astonishing. This was no ordinary quarter. It had the kind of error that collectors dream about: a double die on the obverse, a rare die clash, and a perfect uncirculated finish that had somehow never seen circulation. When it hit the auction block later that year, it fetched $1.30 million. But how did a modern coin, something you and I use to feed parking meters, end up with a value that could buy a beachfront home? That's what we're diving into next. A coin's value through the roof, rarity, condition, and historical significance. Let's start with rarity. The U.S. Mint struck millions of Frederick Douglass quarters in 2017, but only a microscopic number contained this specific combination of errors. We're talking about fewer than a dozen known examples. They weren't supposed to exist. These errors were likely caused by a misalignment in the minting press, and then, as fate would have it, quickly corrected. That makes the ones that slipped out into the public exceedingly rare. Next is condition. The $1.3 million specimen is what collectors call MS-68 full strike. That's mint state 68, nearly perfect, with crisp lines and untouched luster. It had never been rolled, jangled in a pocket, or dropped on a counter. It was preserved like a time capsule, but it's the third factor, historical significance, that adds a layer of depth money can't quantify. Before we go any further, we have to talk about the man on this quarter. Frederick Douglass wasn't just a great American, he was a symbol of the unyielding human spirit. Born into slavery, Douglass escaped and became one of the most powerful voices for freedom and equality in the 19th century. He taught himself to read, spoke before presidents, and changed the course of American history. His speeches could shake rooms. His courage defied centuries of oppression. So when the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with the second coin in the 2017 America the Beautiful series, it wasn't just a tribute, it was a message. A message of strength, resilience, and the unbreakable American will. Take a close look at the coin. The reverse shows Douglass seated at a writing desk in his home in Washington, D.C. Behind him? A window to the outside world, symbolizing his voice reaching far beyond his own walls. That home, Cedar Hill, still stands today as a National Historic Site. The side with Washington's portrait, the magic happens. The rare double die error affects the word liberty and the phrase, "In God We Trust." Slight but unmistakable doubling that only trained eyes or good magnification can spot, and that doubling isn't just a minting fluke. It's a collector's dream. It turns a 25-cent coin into a seven-figure asset. There's a whisper in the coin collecting community. Some believe there are more of these high-value 2017 P. Douglass quarters out there. Not just one or two. Perhaps 10. Maybe 20. Because people have no idea they're holding onto a fortune. These coins could be sitting in piggy banks, hiding in car trays, resting inside coin jars on kitchen counters across America. You might have one and not even know it. Start with the basics. Your coin needs to be a 2017 quarter with a P mint mark, that's Philadelphia. Look for it on the obverse, to the right of Washington's ponytail. At least 10x. Focus on the words liberty and in God we trust. Look closely for doubling, that's where the letters look slightly echoed or doubled. Subtle, but distinct. Flip the coin and examine the reverse. The detail should be razor sharp. Look at the curtains in the window behind Douglass, the lines of the desk, and even his facial features. If it's sharp enough to look sculpted, you might be onto something. If your coin passes those tests, it's time to take it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can certify the coin's grade and verify whether it matches known specimens. Just as the Douglass quarter stunned collectors, another 2017 America the Beautiful quarter is starting to raise eyebrows. Quiet rumors, unconfirmed sightings, and strange sales online have sparked speculation, but for now, go check your change. That coin at the bottom of your junk drawer could be your ticket to financial freedom. Your chance to rewrite your story, just like Douglass did, one quarter at a time. So hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who's got a jar of old coins sitting around. Because in this game, knowledge is money, and you just got richer. Zoom in on the Frederick Douglass quarter slowly spinning under bright light. Check your pockets. Your future might be in your hand. What if I told you that a simple quarter in your pocket right now might be worth more than your house, more than your car, even more than your entire retirement savings combined? It sounds like a fantasy, doesn't it? But I'm here to tell you it's very real. One very specific coin, the 2000p Maryland quarter, has taken the collecting world by storm, and it's no ordinary find. Right now this quarter has reached an astounding market value of $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that cost just 25 cents to make is now worth a small fortune. But what makes this Maryland quarter so valuable? What hidden secrets lie in its design, and how could you be holding onto one without even realizing it? Don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for, and you just might find yourself digging through your change jar. By tonight the year was 2000. America was entering a new millennium. The Y2K bug had Pass.coms were booming and the US Mint was deep into one of the most ambitious coin projects in history, the 50-state quarters program on its reverse side. You see the iconic Maryland Statehouse Dome, the oldest state capitol still in legislative use, framed with white oak branches, a nod to the state's official traits, a beautiful design, but no one in 2000 expected it to someday be part of a multi-million-dollar story. So what happened? How did a 25-cent piece go from soda machines to Sotheby's auctions? Well, it all comes down to something unexpected, a few tiny details, minting mistake and a fierce race between collectors. The 2000p quarter was minted in Philadelphia. Over 1.2 billion Maryland quarters were struck, yes, billion with a BSO. How could any of them possibly be rare? That's where the story takes a turn. You see, not all of those 1.2 billion coins were created equal. In fact, a small number of them were struck with microscopic irregularities, errors invisible to the naked eye at first glance, but to trained collectors these flaws mean everything. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, clash dies, and the crown jewel of them all, the ultra-rare transitional planchet error. One particular batch of 2000p Maryland quarters were struck on experimental or leftover planchets. These were metal blanks not intended for this coin, which gives them a slightly different weight, a different ring when dropped, and most shockingly a shimmer that feels just slightly off, but you wouldn't notice unless you knew, and very few people did. That's where the $1 million value begins. A retired Navy veteran in Delaware, we'll call him Bill. Bill had been casually collecting coins since the 70s. It was a relaxing hobby, a way to connect with history, and it all changed one quiet morning in 2019. He went to pay for his coffee at a gas station. The cashier handed him 3 quarters as change, and one of them just felt different. It looked normal, but it had a strange luster, and the edge was oddly smooth. Placed it under a magnifying glass, and what he saw nearly made him drop his coffee. A clear die crack across the Maryland Dome, an ever so slight off-center strike and weight irregularity. Bill sent it to a third-party grading company, and when it returned, it had been authenticated as a mint error of national significance, one of only 3 known in that condition. That same coin later sold at private auction for $1.4 million. From pocket change to life change. Now here's where it gets really interesting. You're probably wondering right now, could I have one of these in my drawer? Could there be a treasure hiding in plain sight right in my sock drawer or in that jar next to the coffee pot? The answer is absolutely yes, but you need to know what to look for. First, flip the coin over, look at the Statehouse Dome. Are there any visible cracks, anything off in the detail? Is the strike slightly to the left or right? Next, weigh the coin. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs slightly less, even by 0.1 grams, you could be holding an off-metal strike. And listen to the sound it makes when you gently drop it on a table. The tone should be crisp and high, but some rare error coins give off a dull or lower pitch. Still not sure? There's one final step. Use a magnifier and study the mint mark the piece. Some rare coins show doubling where it looks like there's a faint shadow of another letter underneath. That's a strong indicator of a double die error. Now where's the kicker? There could be more of these coins in circulation right now, just waiting to be found. The rare coin market has exploded in recent years, especially after the pandemic. People started looking through their old change, and collectors came out in full force. Shows in Chicago, conventions in Vegas, and thousands of online listings have turned coins like the 2000p Maryland quarter into gold mines. High-grade examples, even without an error, are fetching thousands, but the certified error coins are in a league of their own. And here's something the average person doesn't realize: most $1 million coin sales don't happen on eBay, they happen behind closed doors at private showings, at high-stakes auctions with millionaires and museums bidding silently. You could be holding a fortune and not even know it unless you check. So what happens if you do find one? What's the next move? Let's walk through it step by step. Don't clean the coin. Ever cleaning can destroy the surface, which dramatically lowers the value. Store it safely. Use a coin flip or a plastic capsule. Keep it away from heat and moisture. Third, get it appraised. Use a reputable third-party grading company like PCGS or Inkthil. Examine it, grade it, authenticate it, and give it a serial number. That one step could be the key to transforming it from pocket change to auction gold. From there, list it with the help of a broker or bring it to a certified coin show. There are entire communities of buyers ready to make an offer, and if you time it right, you could be walking away with a check that could change your life. More of these $1 million Maryland quarters are suspected to be out there. Some experts believe up to 10 or more still remain in circulation. They could be in your tip jar, your glove compartment, even under your couch cushions right now. Think about it. You've spent quarters every day of your life, but have you ever really looked at them? What if the coin you spend on a parking meter is the one coin that could have bought you a mansion, a yacht, or your complete financial freedom? Let that sit with you for a second tonight before you go to bed. Grab your coin jar, sit down, and look through it, because while everyone else is watching TV, you might just be holding the one quarter that turns your world upside down. You'll never look at spare change the same way again. The 2000p Maryland quarter, it's more than just a coin, it's a golden opportunity waiting to be discovered.